once you're volunteering, then you kind of wait for the dog that's going to be right for your family or your environment.
Okay.
When you're fostering a dog? Oh. Well, for me, I found it quite easy. I think we talked, we met up, and then it was a lot of contact with Denise about your dog and how it's going, and you always want to report back. I didn't find it hard to process at all. I think it helped for me that I already had a dog, so I knew about dogs. But once you're volunteering, then you kind of wait for the dog that's going to be right for your family or your environment.
Okay.
Sure. So about a month ago, after I booked my flight home, a friend of mine put an ad on Instagram. They shared something from a rescue in their story that said that this rescue is looking for people who are flying from Winnipeg to Toronto or to a whole bunch of different cities in October. And so I reached out to them, and they were able to attach 2 dogs to my ticket. And so I didn't have to pay anything for this. I was still able to bring all of my normal luggage. All I had to do was give them my flight details, and they completed the booking for me. And then this morning I met them at the airport, and the foster families, they took care of putting the crates together, loading the dogs up, filling out all of the paperwork, and getting the dogs processed through security. And so really all I had to do was meet them at the airport and then meet the dogs when they arrived. So normally if a dog is being shipped cargo, it can be a lot more expensive. And so by attaching a dog to your ticket, rather than going through the cargo route, you can save the rescues hundreds of dollars without any sort of effort yourself.
Fox has broken her tibia after being hit by a car. And so the type of fracture she has is like a spiral, runs around her tibia. And so if we don't fix it with some implants, the problem is if she tries to walk on it, the pressure when it comes up through her leg will compress the spiral and shorten her tibia. So we'll try and fix it with some implants. And broadly speaking, we have a couple of groups, one sort of implant that goes in the leg, or another implant that actually is drilled in through, but you can see it on the outside of the leg. It's called an external fixator, where the pins go through and come out and then are connected to bars outside. So we're going to hope to use an internal implant, and in her case, a plate and screws. The bone breaks suddenly, you can imagine it's got very sharp edges. We can usually tell from an x-ray how old a fracture is roughly, because those edges start to smooth over after time. And in the early stages of the fracture, what happens with healing is that they develop, the first thing that happens when the bone breaks, it bleeds. Then they get a blood clot. Then the blood clot starts to turn into what's called granulation tissue, which then turns into fibrous tissue, which is like scar tissue. I think she's at that stage where she's got scar tissue between the fracture ends, and the bone is already starting to try to heal. From scar tissue, it then basically turns to cartilage and then bone. That's the path of healing for a fracture. When we go in, it's actually going to be stuck together with the scar tissue, which I'm going to have to cut away to try to get the fracture back together again. So it makes it a bit more challenging. So actually this bone is on its way and it's stable. So with rest, it will heal up. And for me to go in there now, I'm going to be doing a lot of digging around in there. For what? To try and lengthen it by a centimeter? Like it's just, I'm going to cause more harm than good probably, and it's just not, it's not fair on her, and it's not wire really. So there we go. Although it looks horrible, it's stable and it's.
For Fox, this is such good news that she doesn't need surgery, and she can now just get focused on getting on with her life. Because with that surgery, she would have had to begin at her healing time now, which would put her back 2.5 months. And at least now she's already 3 to 4 weeks into healing. So within a month, 6 weeks, she should be back to as right as she's ever going to be, and not have to worry about going through the whole process again.
You're a good girl, huh?
Get her profile up.
I help run, as a volunteer, the Mattie's Place food bank, which plays a vital role in our community. We must feed about 150 various pets every week, every Friday. We open our doors from 4 o'clock to 5:30, and we get a variety of people and different people in different situations and different financial difficulties, and they come to our door, need any evidence of what they need, or they don't have to show any proof, and we just want them to enjoy their pets and have fun with them. We're sitting in the food bank right now. We're always constantly wanting to get lots of donations. We have various people that come to our food bank, from people that have lost their job through COVID, through no fault of their own, but COVID has hit them really hard. They have 2 cats, they're loved cats, but they can't afford to actually feed them or give them litter, or we provide litter, food. If they need medical special vet food, through talking to Denise about it, we will actually help them with that. We are always wanting lots of different things, particularly cat food. Cats seem to be very hard hit. A lot of people have multiple pets. They probably are on disability. We have a lady that comes in a wheelchair, in Wheel-Trans, every couple of weeks, and we supply her with at least 1 to 2 weeks food every time, and she loves her dog. So without us providing food and for her dog, she wouldn't be able to keep it.
So I first started with Mattie's Place last September, a little bit over a year now, and I initially reached out to be involved as a foster, just because I was starting grad school and I had a little bit extra time on my hands since I was home, doing school from home. So reached out to Denise to be put on her foster list, and shortly after that, about a month after that, a dog named Nitro became available for foster. He was at risk of euthanasia because of a broken leg. He was found as a stray in Quebec and was not claimed at the rescue in Quebec. So and I was touched by his story and reached out to her and told her I'd be willing to help out in that capacity as a foster. The dog, he was so special, he is so special. I ended up adopting him. A number of things. Honestly, I've always been passionate about dogs. I feel like that's a very clear reason for my reasoning for being involved at Mattie's Place. And maybe this is a bit of a selfish reason, but I really do feel good being here. And after a long week's worth of, I'm in school and like doing things sometimes that aren't the most pleasant, I come here on a Friday and I really do enjoy my time. And I get touched by the stories that other owners tell me when they come in. People come and donate items sometimes, usually after they've lost a pet, and I get to mourn with them and share a moment with them, which to me is so special. I'm like getting goosebumps because it's one of those things where it's so difficult to have those moments of connection with other people, and I feel like in a rescue environment, people are very open and they're willing to share such difficult stories. And I really enjoy like that part, the human connection part, where you share something in common, or you bond over a loss of an animal, which is something so sad, but something that really like unites people at the end of the day. So